to go live on Instagram while I'm doing it. Okay, so I won't be able to get to all the comments today, but I am very, very excited to be here. Things are changing rapidly around us as well as within us. And in that, we have a lot of support services that we're offering right now. And we would love to have you look at like the calendar or join our newsletter. Okay. And you can find it in the link tree, our bio thing. And it's at the top. It's in the newest aspect and you can subscribe there. And it's an easy way to go ahead and continue connection with us. And I'm going to be more diligent in it. So anyway, enough about business. On Mondays, I do this remote healing. Okay. And the healing is a crystal healing and it's very beautiful. And I let people sign up and then I wait until like I'm supposed to, and I take down all their names and then I draw all my symbols, right? And then I go ahead and I start to send the energy, the healing energy of the crystal grid that I built. And today's was on a grid that was for a Metatron symbol. And so it's a very expansive, very powerful experience and it's free. It's remote, but you have to sign up for it because that gives me permission to bring you into the entrainment of that beautiful energy. So today, it really felt like there was a deep shift in what we were going through and what I'm experiencing. Like when I go into the energy before I start doing any of the healing, is that people are very fearful right now, fearful of what's to come. And I would love to encourage you to understand that you are your source of empowerment. You are who will make you believe something. You are who will make you act on something. So the idea is to really know who you are. And we all have a lot of hurt right now that's triggering, and that trigger is very difficult to navigate, especially if we aren't aware of a trigger. Maybe we're blaming things, circumstances outside of us for how we feel. And that is going to be our downfall. That closes us off and that just stuffs the energy that we haven't healed or looked at or viewed or held sacred of ourselves. All right. And it just turns it into turmoil and difficulties. And the idea is to understand that we're in charge of clearing our space and clearing our understanding of our experience. And that is how we get into alignment. So when you do this energy work, any kind of energy work, right? What happens is you're shifting what you know in that moment to what you would prefer to understand in the future of what a linear explanation experience is. All right. And what you're choosing to do in that moment is go into consciousness itself, more into consciousness. That's what thought is consciousness. So it's a collective. We share ideation, we share connection. We're that beautiful for one another. We're that reflection, right? And depending on where you choose to go in with the vibrational focus, right? So if you're feeling like lost, all right, and you're looking for something that doesn't feel like that, it's going to be very difficult because you're not in recognition that you're lost. So you have to sit still first. You have to sit still and allow yourself to know who you are and what's going on and where is this coming from. Investigating childhood occurrences and determining whether or not you feel safe in those occurrences. and you feel safe in the retelling of it. The charge isn't too high. You don't necessarily have to go around spouting it all the time. You don't have to live there. I'm not encouraging that. It's just coming into recognition of where you are in that moment, right? And saying, okay, so this is not what I want. And then letting it settle. See how the energy just kind of lets go and it drops to the ground? You're just letting go of a charge, letting go of a charge that's holding you in a certain pattern, a certain vibrational frequency. Okay, you're just letting go of that, and you're letting the earth go ahead and receive the charge and change it into Mother Earth's charge, right? That better EMF, right? When you ground. So as this charge drops into the ground, it changes into that frequency. And then imagine, right, if you like are letting that go, that you become like the roots of the trees, and you just drop down into the earth really, really deep until you get to like the core, and you go deeper and 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 deeper. And you let that energy keep going down to the core, right? And then in the core, you just wrap all of your roots around the center of the earth, so that you're stable, you're tethered, everything is there for you. All right. And you sit there for a second and you regulate how your energy is. You sit and you balance in to your natural, authentic, energetic self. Because this is where you get your energy. This is where you get your beingness. This is your physical, this is your stars and dust, right? And so this frequency is very natural to you. And when you plug into it, you sit in it for a minute, you're going to feel like you're getting charged in a different way, in a more balanced way. And then I like to introduce specifics, right? Because I want to work in a field of energy that's going to be healing and expansive. And I'm choosing for the energy to behave that way that I work with. It's called an entrainment. And in that, when I bring in a thought or I bring in a feeling, I get to work in that energy with it. So I set the energy first. I have an intention, all right? And then I'll go ahead and take fire, right? Fire, I take the elements, right? I take the elements and I bring them in, right? So you're bringing up fire, water, earth, wood, metal, spirit, air into your experience. And as you drag them up through all that root system, all that energy, bring it into the bottom of your feet, up your legs, your hips, to where like your hips expand and loosen up, right? Your back doesn't hurt anymore. You bring it up your spine. You bring it out and extend it into your arms. So that you're like a tree, right? And you just keep bringing it up your spine, out your head, and expand it into the universe. That beautiful element energy, right? That expression of your connection. And I like to do that. That helps me. I do that so that I know who I am, so that I'm clear. I feel so much more clear right now. So that's one of my practices. Knowing your energy is going to become very, very important. Okay? Knowing who you are in the energy is going to be more important than what it is right now. Navigating external, internal energies will tell you what your authentic experience is. You will be able to become the observer in things that do not attach to you. So you will be releasing burdens of things that you take on as responsibility. You won't do that anymore. This is a practice for empaths. Anybody who is a heavy empath, if you do this practice, this will help you. I'm extremely empathic. I read through feeling a lot. And as I do that, I'm taking in the energy because I'm curious and I'm looking at it. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And I'm taking it into the wholeness of how I read. And when I do that, I have to be sure of who I am so that I don't have to determine what that is when people are gone. And that's just one of my practices. The energy that we're in right now is change, extreme change. And I was noticing that the outer world, the natural world, is reflective of that if we look, right? And I was noticing that across the sky today, the clouds are going by fast, right? And there's a little wind, and it shows me that this is the season of change. This is the season of change. We just went into Scorpio. How could it not be? Oh, by the way, we're probably coming out of our feels a little bit now. Okay. So as we come out of our feels, we're coming to the end of that little ta-da. Next week, it'll feel a little bit more. Okay. Right now, you may be sleeping a lot. The reason you're sleeping a lot is because your body's been doing a lot of shifting. You've been doing a lot of releasing, whether you know it or not. Any kind of movement that you're doing, you're in an expression. Any kind of talking that you're doing, you're in an expression, and that's all energetic. So you're releasing. Deciding what it is that you're releasing in that moment can be very intentional. That can be very beneficial to your system. Checking into your system and asking your system what's going on occasionally will help. That allows you to sit still and reconnect to your physical experience. It lets your energy drop into your body to do a check-in. Because we're so shared, and because energy is like over 99% of our experience, okay? Our physical experience is less than 1% of our totality. All right? So really looking at that and allowing yourself to connect to basic things that are natural and authentic allow you to self-regulate. And we have that ability. We have those chromosomes to be able to do that. Self-regulate our emotional well-being. That's our natural sensory awareness and our visceral nervous system. And it's a lot. And that's our communication in our physical realm, right? So allowing us to really drop into our intuition and trust it. And you have to know who you are in that energy rather than getting outside information from maybe an opinion from somebody you talk to. You trust your inner voice and your inner world, all right, that you've worked on, because a lot of you guys have done a shit ton of work, right, internally. And we're still feeling, and we're supposed to, because we're feeling everybody's feelings in the moment. This is a big entrainment. There's a lot of worldwide strife right now. And that's a nice word. That's a nice word. Okay? There's a lot of grief. There's a lot of emotion. There's a lot of overwhelm. And when we're feeling that from the outside, and we haven't done any work on the inside, we're going to naturally trigger and express the very same vibration we're trying to get away from. That vibration will perpetuate that same experience again and again and again and again, because it's a magnet. And you feel all that energy, right? But you're not part of it because you took the time to drop into the earth. That's why it is around you and not of you. That's the difference. Okay? The idea is to really understand that. And you can always say, oh, I want it all in front of me so that I can transmute it. You know, wherever I'm walking, I'd like for it to transmute, change. You know, it's energy. I'd like for it to change into little white butterflies of unconditional love, right? God, source energy. They usually turn into rainbow butterflies. They're really just beautiful. The rainbow is always meant like this blissful, source-driven, acceptance, surrender, authentic energy, right? And so transforming it into that, or transmuting it into that, is easy, because I'd like to walk into that. That's what I want to experience. So I'm going to set the intention to set the energy. And I'm going to make it up as I go along. I'm going to imagine or pretend, the same as you do when you go to work. You imagine or pretend it's going to be XYZ. You're doing the same stuff. I just do it like this. Just do it however you'd like, but understand that's what you're doing. You're creating your experience, long before you join the physical aspect of it. You create here in consciousness, right? And depending on how connected you wish to be in that expansiveness of all that is, how accepting and loving you can hold yourself, right, will determine the experience that you have. Okay? And it's actually easily done in like 3 minutes. And that is so that you become that one thing, right? So doing that grounding exercise. And the next one is to think of something and then feel it, so that you're connecting your energetic world with your physical world. And that's called heart math. Okay? And one of the ways that I really like to do that is I like to use different words, because I love words. Words are very powerful. They're, people might call them spells, but what they are is their frequency, because they have connotations. So they have this meaning. Meaning is something that's rendered from energy. Okay? All right. So that's why words are so powerful. And as you wind them, you're flowing a certain frequency and you're aligning to that frequency. So if the words are detrimental in your narrative, in your head, in your loop, then you're gonna align to that, and it may not feel where you want to be, and you may say things like, why am I here? But it's the narrative. All right. It's the narrative, and you have to reset somehow so that you can step out of the narrative. Okay. And then you just sit still. So this is one way. Another way to do it. And 3 minutes is what's suggested for this. 3 minutes, a 3-minute practice. And what you do is you sit still and you take some deep breaths. And let go. And you just slow your system down a little bit. And then you choose a word. Today we'll choose beauty. All right? We'll choose beauty. Spirit suggested beauty. Consciousness, higher consciousness is saying beauty. All right? And you might be feeling that beauty. When you think of beauty, what do you see? When you feel beauty, what do you feel? Is it the beauty of the situation? Is it the beauty of you and your energy? Is it that gratitude that you have for who you are? The beauty of that situation? Is it the beauty of you knowing that you have your body to express with? Is it the beauty of that first flower in spring or first turn of the leaf in autumn? Is it the clouds going across the sky? Is it you? Yeah, you're that beauty. And there's that other connection right there. Because you have done this, this is a practice. You've let your energy settle into your cells. All right? And your cellular network is now 100% present. 100%. You're 100% present right now. Imagine the things you can do being in this position. Thought, action, in total connection. It's amazing. And it only takes 1 minute, 3 minutes. Okay? And it's just putting you into a position of understanding that you're very important in the next steps of your experience. It's your experience. That's why. So you give yourself a little time to practice these things, and they work out. They work out really nice. A lot of times I'm asked about protection, right? You guys are coming back. That's that feeling. Okay, you're coming back into your physical world. Okay, it was a little meditation, but you're in that connection. That's when all 30 plus trillion cells show up at once, right? And I'm releasing the entrainment, but you're still in your energetic. So that's what I was doing. Okay, so for this part, right, I've been asked about protection, right? This is how you protect yourself. This is how you protect yourself. You be in your body. We're shared consciousness. You're bound to have a spirit, a cosmic being, maybe something you don't want inside of your energetic experience. If you don't recognize what you want and what you don't want and see it as energy or treat it as energy, right? It's going to become more physical. It has to. Because we cycle like this, right? We cycle like this. We bring it in and let it go. We bring it in and let it go. That's the cycle. That's our cycle. And we're all shared, right? So we're never going to be 100% pristine. We're always going to have that duality. Understanding that duality is our relation to everything. That's our relation to everything. It allows us to understand that we are capable of contrast and bliss, and that both are present in every opportunity that's presented to us. And when we step into it, it becomes a situation. And then we start to manifest within that situation, because what we asked for shows up exactly how we asked for it originally. And before it shows up, we begin to manifest changes. And those changes are things that we internally have to come right with in order for the manifestation to show up the way we now think, or now think, or now think, or now think it should be. If we slow down a little bit, right? If we slow down a little bit and we go, oh wow, if my subject is work, right? If my subject is Body Studios, right? Oh wow. Okay, so where am I at with Body Studios and what I want to manifest, right? I don't have to be in stress over it. I could just be like, oh, okay, I don't feel like I'm like where I want to be, or maybe I have some ideas that are coming in and I want to see where they're going to manifest, right? Maybe I'm in that kind of energy and I'm like, oh, okay, so stop. Let go. Physically let go of whatever that is. You don't have to. It's a choice. You don't have to hold on to that energy. You're capable of holding that energy. You managed to do it all that time. Yet you don't have to stay there. Okay? All right. Okay, now I'm in recognition. That charge, remember we started that way at the very beginning, and now that charge is dropping down to the ground because the earth is going to go ahead and transmute that energy into element energy, right? And all those balancings that we have, right? Like fire below water creates steam, right? Steam is a representation of your beliefs. You create them. Remember, we didn't bring steam up from the earth. You're the representation of spirit on earth in many ways. And then you have earth and wood. And this is the spiritual, this is the physical. And then you have metal, spirit, air, right? And then you ask them all to come into harmony. All to come into harmony and just surround you and continue to transmute the energy and bring it into your most authentic experience of you, right? And then that helps everything, because you're in awareness of who you are in that moment. You don't necessarily have to plan for your future, because you're already asking for things, and as they show up, when you recognize that that's what's happening, everything opens. It opens like a present. Okay, but recognition is key. Recognition is key to manifesting. If you're asking for a lot of money and you find a penny on the ground, right? If you choose to recognize it in that moment as part of the bounty of what you're asking for, more will come. Maybe pennies, maybe dollars, maybe that feeling that you had when you found it. Oh, cool, right? More will come because you changed your vibration in that moment to be that focus. And remember, you're the magnet. You're the magnet. Be a good magnet for yourself. When you find joy in the world in some little way, celebrate it. Celebrate it because it will connect you to your physical plane in a nicer, easier way. It will allow you to be who you are more authentically. You know, we walk around saying, oh, I don't want this stress. Okay, don't stress. I know. I get it. Queen stress. Got it. But I do these exercises so that I can detach from whatever I'm making up about my stress, and I can choose a different focus. And that's what it basically is: distraction, distraction, distraction. Life is meditation. So you're going to be very focused in whatever your experience is, and you can't solve your experience when you're in it. You have to settle in and step back and wait for it to show you what it's meant to be, so that way you can move forward. Otherwise, you're going to keep manifesting where you're at. But we used to say, put your shovel down, you're done digging, right? This has been a very delicious, lovely experience with all of you. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm happy that I decided to do the Instagram live as well. And that'll be on Mondays. I'll do that. This will be fun. And I'll remember to change my focus on my phone. All right. Thank you guys. I love you. And bye. I have a lot of things to turn off. Haha.